I don't know.
Anyway.
Okay, it's time to start. The things
Oh yeah,
that
so
we
Ibai kindly accepted leading this meeting. So thank you, Ibai.
no worries, more than welcome. So, question: are we recording the meeting?
Yes, it's recording.
Okay, so David, do you want to go ahead and explain the change in the format, or do you want me to do it?
The change in the format. What are we talking about?
Oh, that this meeting from now on we will be focusing on the roundtable.
Right. Okay. Yes. So we're gonna try to be more disciplined. We are very mindful of people's time, and this meeting has traditionally run for a full hour. So what we're gonna try is to, whenever we have something on the wiki page that doesn't really need discussion, that is more of a status update, then we ask everyone to simply refer to the wiki, or in this case, the Etherpad, instead of actually reading out loud everything that is already on the wiki. I'm gonna call it wiki. So basically, like, if you have something that you want to discuss, then let's discuss that. But if it's just an update, if it's just an FYI, just point to the wiki, and let's see how much time we can save as a result. So the goal, I think the aim is to trim this meeting down into 30 minutes of really interesting discussions that everyone is engaged in, instead of having a full hour status update meeting where everyone is sort of drifting off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the goal. And also, given that if this is a discussion that really doesn't include like everyone listening, then like if it's something that could easily be handled with 2 people or 3 people, and let's have that discussion in the contributor forum.
Okay.
All right.
So that said, let's go to the meeting. Last week, action items. We have Matt and Tyler to help Michael to create Babylon documentation. Is that something that we can call it done?
It's not done. We worked on it, or Matt and Tyler worked on it. There's not a document yet, but in progress.
Okay, so we'll move it for next week again until it's fully done.
Okay.
Do you have an ETA, Matt, Tyler?
So we gave Michael the information that he needed. I think Michael said he's just working on creating the document, but we can help with that too.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood. So I guess my question is, do you have an ETA, or is this for next week? And I'm looking at you, Michael.
I hadn't thought about it before this moment. I don't see why it can't get done this week, though. I mean,
a week. Okay, so there's no other action items pending. SUMO development update. There are no notes. Do you have anything here, Kadir?
There are notes.
SUMO development.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
the 19th.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's the 19th sprint. We are working on the user stories that are mentioned in that part. And during this week, later this week, we will start planning the 20th sprint. Ricky and I will start doing that, and I will present that next week. So yeah, if there are any questions, I can talk about that right now. Other than that, we are working on, as you can see, L10 tools and mobile redesign in our main time.
I think that you're looking to the wrong one. Or
yeah, I don't see any updates at all. Actually, I'm a little bit puzzled.
Yeah, I'm testing it again.
Oh, so it may be an issue with the Etherpad. So someone had, maybe it was me, somebody, maybe I messed it up, but somebody created an Etherpad for October 9th, and that linked from the main page, and now I see someone created an October 8th Etherpad. So we've got 2 versions of this meeting notes. That must be what happened. So
yeah, this
explains
why the Etherpad was so empty. Like I was looking at a skeleton Etherpad. So I guess
So
we
if you
should just
go to
copy.
the 9th, if you change the date to the 9th, because what I did was there's no way to redirect this darn Etherpads, and I just put a note that this is actually happening on the 8th, on the 9th Etherpad.
I just posted the link on SUMO for the one on the 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend that we just copy and paste into the right one.
I'm copying everything to the 8th. So please,
Okay,
let's all move
let's
to
do
the
that.
8th. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Because the day today is 8th. And
Damn right.
There some... Okay, so then
we should put a note on the other one to see the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I should have done that. That would have been
Is there
better.
anything to comment on the UX or just the wiki?
Wait, just yeah. So I just wanted to also ask if there are any questions about the SUMO development update. Now that you have actually seen what I've written there. Okay, if there are no questions, we can move on.
Okay.
Yeah, the next one is UX.
Mm-hmm.
So just one note there that's not in the meeting notes is that Bram is currently also working on the marketplace or developer marketplace for developers on Firefox OS. So he is the developer hub. So he's and that is his time that is not spent on working on SUMO. So we are splitting his time this week. But we will start working on multiple product support with him very soon, and also we will start working on the stuff for the first quarter. But keep that in mind, his time is right now a bit limited because he's also working on a Firefox OS issue.
Okay, thank you. So let's jump into Roundtable. Oh, there's a link here to Altman English that I don't know what it means. Who did paste this?
So that's SatDavs.
Okay.
This is the little bit I know about it.
Yeah.
You want to say it? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, actually, he talked to me again. He said that he couldn't make the meeting today. That's why he couldn't present it.
Should we save this for next meeting?
Well, I actually think that, I mean, we talked about this last week. We talked about it on the KB meeting. So, you know, I told Seth that it would be great if he could come, because I think that we should come to a decision. David, to update you on what this is about, Seth was proposing that we have a separate locale for British English. And mainly we see that, you know, it can help some European readers, but it's a lot of effort. So I think that from the team, mainly we agree on the fact that we don't see it as a big priority, and that we could wait until we have more contributors. So I don't know. I mean, it's a bad thing that setup isn't here, but maybe you should make a decision on this so that it's documented.
I'm gonna move the conversation to next week, if everyone agrees, because.
Yeah, I think the thing his backup proposal was, if we don't create another locale for English, a second locale for English, could we just name it EN instead of ENUS and just change the locale string? Everything else would be the same.
Yeah, I think we may have actually talked about that before. There is a redirect from EN to ENUS because that's the only locale that we support, right? So we are sticking to American spelling for our articles, just because that's our largest English-speaking audience. And so I don't think that it would be like this is a kind of a cost-benefit equation, that there's a really high cost of maintaining a separate locale just for the sake of having a different spelling. Mm-hmm. And so who is willing to maintain that locale, and what benefit would it give our users to have that separate locale maintained? So and I would go out on the limb and say that the benefit is really minor for users, and that's that's the group that we care about, right? Mm-hmm. And the cost of doing that is humongous, unless we can figure out a fancy way of automatically swapping the spelling based on locale or anything. But so I really think that this is not something that we would like anyone to spend their time on, because that is, you know, really expensive investment of time that just doesn't seem like it's worth it. So that's my personal take, and I don't know if we like, if I need to make a decision about it, that would be my decision. Let's just
So
not do
before
So maybe
Matt,
as a product.
Kadir, 1 second. Matt was waiting.
Yeah, so I was going to say, David, there is a way that you can do it with string substitution to vary the spelling based on locale, but there's a lot of overhead and there's a lot of maintenance involved in that. But I think the most important thing is if we look at the our core values, our core principles that we had set up the last work week, the number one thing that we want to do is to try to help as many people as possible very quickly, right? And spelling variations in English doesn't change our ability to help people, whether it's spelled in the British version, British way or the American way. You can still understand what the article is trying to tell you to do, so you can still get help, right? So in that way, we're helping more people faster, right? If we invest those extra resources in trying to build like a string substitution system, we aren't going to be actually helping more people. We're going to be, you know, prettying it up. And our new core values, we're stating that we want to try to help as many people as possible, and that's what we should be focusing on, are the things that help us to improve our ability to help people. So I think based on that, it's probably not the best way
Yeah,
to.
Kadir and then Rosanna. Oh, sorry, Verdi.
Yeah, also from.
Yeah, Kadir, go ahead.
Yeah, so also from a product perspective, I have to say, for some of the stuff that we are doing, we need the help of our localizers to actually give our users a good experience. This will especially come into play when we do stuff on the search side, where we use synonym rings and we look at often misspelled words and stuff like that. So we will do this for ENUS, but then we would rely on someone else to also do this for British English-speaking users. And if they don't do that, then those users just won't get the benefits that they would otherwise get. This is a part where we will rely on our community. And I think in the end, unless we have a large community for British English, they will have a worse experience than if we wouldn't do that. And so I can only say at this point, I wouldn't do that because it's going to create overhead. And it might actually lead to users having a worse experience.
So the flow is as Michael, Rosanna, David, but let me raise a point here. I think that we already got this conversation, and we all agree that we are not doing English Great Britain or South Africa or Australia. So I think that we all agree here. The conversation now is, should we rename English US into English? And that's a conversation that I think that we may have in the KB meeting this week. That's what I'm proposing with when Sadap is here. And
so my question would be, is that a hard change to do technically? So and just to remind some people who weren't here before, we had similar discussions about the Spanish locale in the past. So we had different locales and we had difficulties. I actually forget the specific, but I think that there was a sub locale or maybe one individual who wanted to create a separate locale for Mexican Spanish, and we basically all collectively agreed that it would be better if these people joined forces and worked on the Spanish locale instead, and that's what they ended up doing. So that's how the Mozilla Spanish work, and they have just /es. So you know, given that, we might just switch to have /en. I mean, I wouldn't oppose that. My only opposal would be if that is a radical change that will, you know, cause some damage, and like it's again a super small benefit, but it's a cost. So if the cost is minimal, let's do it. If it's more than a week of development and testing and checking, and let's just not do it. It's just not worth it.
My proposal is that we will follow up with Ricky and check what are the requirements, how much investment it's going to take us, and we will make a decision based on that.
Yeah, so I think the bottom line is that it's not an important change. Like it's more of a symbolic change. So that has to be a cheap change. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
And is anyone against doing that change? Because I think that, I mean, I think it's a good idea because it will remove any localism or will make it more international.
Right. Yeah, it's a
Right.
good idea. It's just that if it's a high cost to
Yeah.
implement that change, it's not going to be worth it.
Yep.
So
Matt?
the only concern without capturing the proper locale is if we're pointing people to download links, right? So you want to point them to the, say, ENUS or ENGB if there are variations like that. So I know that's mainly the reason why most companies will break it out like that rather than just having a single English, is for download links only. And if we just point them to, the download page that has the list of, pick your locale, then I don't see it being an issue at all.
Right.
Yeah, also just to say, we are already, we don't have ENGB, so we are already forwarding people to ENUS. So we wouldn't lose or win anything by doing this.
Right. And all I was going to say was that I was going to say what Ebi said, and I don't know anything else about it to be able to contribute to whether it's a good thing or not. It doesn't particularly, it sounds like a good idea, but I don't know how difficult it is.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's also remember that Mozilla www.mozilla.org has /ENUS. So
yeah,
there's no ENGB as far as I can tell.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll explore this offline, and we can keep talking about it, and maybe we can have some information from SUMO Dev on Thursday for the KB meeting, and we can wrap up the conversation there. Sounds like a plan? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up. Great. Next topic. It's an FYI, I think that from Michael.
From me. Yeah. So this is stuff that I'll add to the KB meeting, but just so people know, there's a couple of things. So Firefox 17, the big thing in Firefox 17 is social API. But I think because of a partner agreement, I don't know how we are going to document it in time for localization to happen. So I'm still trying to find out the details about that. And then today, very nicely, somebody showed up in IRC who's just written a book about Windows 8 and has lots of information about new changes in Windows 8 terms. And so I'm going to meet with him tomorrow to try to suss out, what that means for our changes for Windows 8 and articles. And at the moment, we have hardly any Windows 8 users, but that will maybe change soon. So anyway, so I'll know more after tomorrow and later this week, and I'll put it in the KB thing. I just want to let people know that those were possible issues coming up.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. So desktop Firefox update. There is a thread. Can anyone give a briefing on what's going on in the thread?
Is this the status thread? Okay, yeah, so Tyler just posted the status for Firefox 16. The only real difference between this and other releases is that tomorrow is also Microsoft Patch Tuesday. So we're fully throttled. We don't want to interfere with that. So uptake is probably going to be a little slow. But hopefully later this week, we'll have a bunch of people on 16, and we'd love some community love if you guys want to really get in there and kick some butt on Sumo Day. And as always, you see anything in 16, reach out, let us know, update the thread.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Metrics, read the notes.
Yeah, so I put a few notes in there. I'm not sure if you want to discuss some of that. The one thing that is a bit concerning, I think, is the Twitter contributor line. If you look over the last few weeks, it's been going south. I think that is partially explained by the redesign. That for that specific page, it took longer than expected. However, it's been going south before. So I think this is a trend, a continuing trend. So we might actually want to interfere here and do something about it.
A friend of mine who has been using Army of Awesome, he started to do it recently. He has sent me some good feedback that I will share it with you. I need to translate it, but I will do it this week.
Could you ask him or her to test it again today So we landed the last part of the redesign thing today, which was specific for Army of Awesome. So it changed a bit. We had to change it again. Not only we had to redesign it because Twitter changed their guidelines of what you are allowed to display. So we had to adapt to those guidelines, and that's why it took a little bit longer. So yeah, if you could test that again, that would be really helpful. It's different now.
I will. Madalena?
Yeah, Kadir, just to let you know, I was just talking to Swarnava now because he was asking about this as well. He says that the site is looking a bit odd, and he was wondering if the new redesign is finished, because there are no contributor statistics and all that. So that might be something that we need to look into. So this is the feedback that he's giving me now. So
okay, right. So here's the thing, and this is really useful feedback now, but also all of the mockups are posted by Bram. So this is really a request that I have. It's very cheap for us to change mockups and to just adapt them based on the feedback that we get. But it's really hard to do that afterwards once we have implemented stuff. So my request would also be, and this is not specific for this case, but also for all the other cases, all the champions, when we ask for feedback on mockups, please give the feedback on them, and then it's really the best place to get that. So I usually look at them, but sometimes I miss stuff because we have so many of them. So if every champion looks only at his own or her own area and gives feedback based on that, that would be really helpful. The mockups are almost identical to what will be shown on the page later. That's what the developers look at when they implement stuff. Okay, this is just the general information. But Madalena, yes, that is the current status of the redesign. Like, we don't have anything planned right now, but if there is any issue with it, we can just file it back and put that into the next sprint and fix it if there is an issue.
Okay.
There are, just to be clear, there are no new Army of Awesome changes coming soon, unless we want to fix stuff. It landed today. So today it's already looking different than yesterday. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, sorry, I captured that wrong. Okay.
So maybe for like the mobile things, we should set up meetings for mock-up reviews, because I find it very challenging to have, like one image of a mock-up. Each image is a separate attachment inside a bug, and that's the only way I have to understand what this mock-up means for a whole new flow. It's
no.
Reading through those, I can read through them a million times, but I don't actually understand what's going to come out at the other end. So while I agree everyone has to review and feedback, we need another way to sort of unify what the meaning is before we get to a place of now we've implemented it.
You need more context, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, but so
how it's going to work, except for these individual images, it's very challenging. I think we need to get something going in between that, something that's between an image and implementation that gives us an understanding of how it's actually going to work.
I totally agree with you, but I also have to say Bram is awesome in that regard. He has very specific text that goes with those screenshots. So he explains in detail what is happening, how you move from one to the next. So if you look at the text that is attached to the actual screenshot, you will see that he covers all of the context of it. Actually, that's one of the things that I really love about the way that Bram works. He isn't just posting just the screenshots. So if you look into the one that I linked to, you will see that for each of them there is very specific, very detailed documentation also.
One of the things I think that's brilliant. What he does is really good and really specific. It allows you to understand the intention behind the design. I think that what Michelle said is also so it's true to a certain extent. And when we are having all these massive bugs with more than 100 updates and several versions of things that you may not care about, it gets a little bit tricky to follow that those design changes. So I think that it will be really good to have a bug for a design bug per category, and we may even have a PDF where you have all the aggregated designs for the latest screenshots or latest designs for that specific bug that you can download and check. That's something that I see from other UX designers, and it's really handy that you download a PDF that has the designs, the user interaction of the design, and they have the comments in the same page. That will help, Michelle.
So let me actually, before we start to re-engineer things, given what Kadir explained about the fact that there is context, I would like to actually try that and see if that works. So, but I was curious to hear if Michelle, did you actually read those things already?
Yeah, of course. I've read all the context. I've read all the images. They're all separate images with all separate contexts in a big bug. We have no meetings that Brahm attends anymore since he has moved. I think there's a gap there. So I'm just saying that I think for mobile, for this quarter, we should have a time in the afternoon where we get together with Brahm and talk about these. I think he is very responsive. I think he has a lot of context in those designs. I'm not completely sure I understand everything, how it's really going to work when it goes from those pictures to implementation. So I don't want to be caught in this situation where it's like, well, it's implemented now and you should have reviewed it. I have reviewed all that stuff. I think I still don't completely understand what everything means.
So what you would like to have is essentially a meeting where you get a chance to talk to him.
That he can attend, yeah, that we can do in the afternoon. I mean, it's not going to be possible for Europe to join that. Kadir, you're not going to be able to run that probably, but I think we should have one, some meeting that he attends. Rosanna?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I actually had the same feeling when I checked the mobile mockups. I mean, I went through them and I looked at them, and sometimes I wasn't sure, like, is this like the final? Is this, like they're like a couple things. So definitely for us who can't attend that meeting, it would be great if it could be recorded, because I know that there's a lot of things that you can communicate much easier. It's easier to have that on video. So yeah, I would be very interested in that too.
Okay, well, I have in the Firefox OS piece that I'm doing a Wednesday afternoon meeting for Firefox OS, so I'm just going to add it in there and try to get some conversations that include Brahm into that meeting about these mobile redesigns.
Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate. It's just that New Zealand and the US West Coast are, I mean, that's as far as you can get east and as far as you can get west. So there will probably no good time for us to meet if we have Europe in the middle. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Brahm is open to having a meeting like that, Michelle, and if there is already a Firefox OS meeting that you're doing, yes, please include him. And I'm pretty sure that he will have no issues at all explaining the different parts of the mobile redesign.
Okay.
And yeah, the sooner we do that, the better.
Yep.
Yeah, the sooner we do this, the better, because we have already, this sprint is already about implementing parts of the redesign. Not all of them, though. So yeah, the sooner we do this, the better we can adapt that.
Okay. I think the initial stuff we're clear on, but as things get more complicated, I mean, there's some more complicated pieces in there with the forum.
Right, and I mean, also just to clarify, the reason why we are doing everything in one bug is because of coherence. So basically, this is less of a website. This is more like an app now. It looks more like an app. And when we change something in one place, we also change it in other places. And it's easier for Brahm just to work from one place. It's also easier for developers to just have one place where there was a request from developers actually to have one place where they can find all the mockups and all the designs and have the latest designs at all times. I understand that can be also confusing to follow along. So yeah,
no,
if
one
meetings
bug
like
is
this
fine. One bug is good. That's helpful. I think that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it's just we need an additional meeting so you can also talk. So
I think
Michelle will make sure
so.
that happens.
Well,
Cool.
Okay, so that's from, it was a metrics community, Romanian community. It's organizing simultaneous sprint.
Yeah, that
Kudos for the effort.
yeah, just wanted to say quickly, congratulations to Alex from the Romanian community who's organizing this. So on the 17th of November, they're going to have an alternate sprint only for sumo. There'll be loads of people there, and hopefully there'll be loads of translations to be done. So great job, Alex and the Romanian community, and hopefully we'll see this happening in other communities as well. So if anybody's interested in organizing something like that, please let me know. I think it's something very, very cool to do. Loads of fun, and I'm actually looking forward for the results of this sprint, but it will take a while until November. But kudos, great job.
That's awesome.
It's everyone, I think. Cool. Exciting.
Talking about Elton, we go to Elton. So
Yeah,
help
so
document.
I just wanted to let people know. I mean, Michelle started last week the new help article day. So what we're gonna do basically is, you know, we have the sumo day. I'm sorry, there's a voice. Can someone mute themselves?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. So actually, we have this document help day, which is great because I know, Michelle, maybe you want to talk a little bit about the success. We reduced the queues for the articles in a review, so that's actually very good. That means also that localizers are going to see a lot of notifications after one of these days, so please don't panic, don't freak out if after a 30 that was a help document day, you see a lot of notifications. It's because of that day. I think as we do this days, you know, more often, we're going to see, you know, less notifications because things are going to get reviewed much faster. But, you know, just as a heads up. Michelle, maybe you want to talk a little bit more about that day?
oh, I just want to thank everyone who participated last Thursday. It was sort of just a quick, we didn't have a lot of time to talk about it in advance or to promote it, and still people came and new people contributed. And so I appreciate everyone's help on all the mobile content getting ready for 16 and helping out with, you know, ramping up for Firefox OS. So thanks very much to everyone who contributed. We have a bunch of people who got edits approved on Thursday. So thanks for your hard work.
Next topic is mobile. Anything to add, Michelle?
Nope.
Okay.
Sumo Day is Thursday. Answer questions for mobile. Woohoo.
Firefox 16 Sumo Day.
Yeah.
We need the help of everyone. It's gonna be a fun day.
And I hear that if we hit 100%, that Madalena juggle chainsaws. That's just what I heard.
Awesome.
I'll try.
Thunderbird, we don't have Roland. He's on holidays. It's Thanksgiving Day in Canada. For those Americans who don't know that Canadians have a Thanksgiving in a different day than Americans. I just found out yesterday. And then we have Firefox OS. Any update there?
Oh, so SetDev's helping me to organize a weekly meeting for mobile for Firefox OS on Wednesdays in the afternoon. Like I just said, we'll invite Bram to come talk about the new mobile designs there this week and see if he can join us. So please join us. It's in the afternoon, so Europe, you'll all be sleeping. We'll record
Yeah,
it.
I would. Okay.
Okay, so that's all. If no one else have any other item that you want to touch, we have 20 minutes that we give you back. David wants to say something.
I was just going to point that out. 38 minutes. So that's progress.
Awesome. I hope that next week we can keep below an hour. That would be fantastic. Splendid.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
All right. Have a great week, everyone. And
Yep.
see y'all in online
Keep rocking the
Right.
web.
Bye.
elsewhere. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Great.